Hi, you've just tuned into Body Quest, the program that examines what motivates ordinary people to make a physical change. I'm your host, Sebastian McLean, and today we'll be meeting Allison Hilder of Fredericton, New Brunswick. Now, Allison has always had an interest in exercise and nutrition, but this time she's going to be stepping it up a notch and going into a figure competition. So join us for this episode as we find out what it takes Allison to get ready for the competitive stage.
My name is Allison Hilder, and I compete in figure competitions, which is similar to fitness, only there's no routine. So we're judged on physical appearance, symmetry, muscularity, stage presence, all those types of things without having to be an acrobat. A lot of fitness competitors have a significant background in gymnastics and things like that, so we're not required to do those moves on stage, but we are judged based upon leanness and that type of thing. I needed something to kind of get my mind off. It was just kind of mundane working out and training and kind of just bored of the whole thing, and then I got approached by a trainer there who said that had I ever heard of any of the competitions, and I had. I'd seen them in magazines and stuff like that. It's a fairly well-developed sport. They're starting to try and make changes just recently, but it's been around for a while, and I just never ever thought that I had the capacity or willingness to do it, so I never really looked into it that much. But when he approached me, it really kind of got the wheels turning and thought, hey, maybe I could do this, and so that's where it started. I got trained and started reading into everything and studying the sport and learning how to eat properly and prepare for a show, and then I just got hooked. Figure was developed for the women that don't want to do bodybuilding. Not that, because I mean the dedication that it takes to the diet for a bodybuilder and the training for a bodybuilder, I props to them, because it's intense. But not everybody can get to that level. So figure was really designed for, you know, like an athletic woman. She still has curves and she still, you know, is really healthy, but she's not quite as lean as the bodybuilder, and it's a little bit more dainty. Probably the biggest negative and one of the hardest things to get used to, and I wish I had been a bit more prepared the first time I came home, was the idea that you can't stay that lean and that healthy. That was the leanest, or you can stay that healthy, but that's the leanest I had ever been in my life. And you're in this limelight and you're getting all the attention, and then all of a sudden you come home and it's like, I've lost my way, I've lost my reason for, you know, because up until that point, I mean, I had done a couple newspaper articles and interviews and stuff like that, and it's really exciting, and it's really, you know, you get all kinds of attention. And then you come home and you start to put the weight back on, and you don't realize, because you're still eating healthy, but it's been a week and you've put on 9 pounds. That's really hard to grasp for anybody, let alone someone who's, you know, got to this level of fitness where you just look great, feel great. But what people don't realize, you only look that way for a day. It's done so scientifically up until that point of how much water you take, and not even brushing your teeth with toothpaste because there's sodium in it. All those little tiny things to get to this one point, and you only look like that for that day, that night. So getting used to having, you know, a little bit of extra weight on and having just a natural healthy body again was hard for me to get used to, but then you get used to it. After each show, you call it your happy 5. When you come home, you put on the 5 pounds, go out and eat at every single restaurant you could think of that you haven't eaten at in 12 weeks, and then but that's probably a hard one that some people might not be able to deal with. The post-show syndrome is what they call it, or post-show depression or whatever. So other than that, maybe some negative attitudes, people thinking it's an unhealthy sport. And just like I said about moderation, eating unhealthy things in moderation, this is a moderative kind of sport as well. You can't, as long as you understand that you can't maintain that, and you don't try and stay that lean all the time, and you don't only eat this way for the whole time, then I think it's a perfectly healthy sport. The only thing that would be hard to deal with, and that, like I said, is the body image thing. You really have to have a true hold of yourself and sense of yourself to understand that you have to be a little bit heavier, shall I say, after. I've been involved in sports since grade 6, you know, throughout junior high, played soccer, volleyball, co-ed rugby with the guys, and throughout high school played soccer, volleyball, things like that, and then rugby in university. So sports and athleticism has kind of always been a part of my life. Training for one of these shows, however, is completely different because it's very much an individual sport. It's something that's based upon your willpower, how much effort you put into it. So really at the end of the day, if you leave with first, second, or third, or nothing, you really have nobody to blame but yourself. So in that way, I really enjoyed the sport because it's a really accountability kind of sport, whereas on a team, the atmosphere and the way that you interact with your players is totally different than getting up on stage by yourself and being judged by a panel of judges, and there's no one else to blame but yourself when you're there. So I enjoyed the intensity of it that way. And it's really something, it's a time commitment. You know that in a certain amount of weeks you have to be at a certain point. So planning and scheduling and making it a priority in your lifestyle every single day, and the determination it takes to get to that, doing that every single day on the times that you don't want to go to the gym, or the times that you're starving, you're running in between classes and you just want to grab something and you can't do that. So it's I really like the pre-planning of it, and it's a very structured kind of sport, and it also gives structure to your life as well, because when you put fitness in the center of it and healthy living in the center of it, everything else kind of seems to work out too. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Oh, the girls at Mama's are great. They probably deal with the moodier, Jared and my mom and others closest to me probably get the sappy, sucky part of me when I want to just be babied or felt sorry for. The girls at Mama's probably get the slightly more attitude Allie when she's carb depleted. They all joke about it, how carb depleted Allie, stay away from her, because it's waitressing can be a little bit of a higher stress level job. So they definitely have been awesome working around my schedule and stuff when I needed time off and for the shows and preparing, and been a little extra patient with me when I've needed it and stuff like that. You try to not let it affect your life, but anyone who's competed or knows people who compete or knows people who are dieting hard know what it's like, and they know that it's really hard to maintain the happy, smiley kind of person that you normally are when you just don't feel that way. So they've been great over there, and waitressing helps. You don't get your cardio in, you're going to get it in that night on a 5-hour shift, so if you ever miss it, I'm pretty sure that you get it in anyway.